Hail.
Hey,
Hail to the Rick 007.
what's up, man?
I'm never quite sure how to respond to what's up. Does that mean what's up as in how's it going, or does it just mean hi?
Um, when I say it,
Or
like
is it
right
both?
now, I meant like, dude, what is up? Like, what's up? Are you a changed man? I have so many questions. There's so much I want to hear
Indeed.
about this American
That's
adventure.
good.
So,
That's good. Certainly was an American adventure for sure. More of a Disney adventure than an all-American adventure, I would say.
yeah, I would guess
Um,
that as well.
so it's a hard one to say in that respect because I would say, disclaimer from the start, I didn't really see much of America,
Right.
right? Is what I would say from the very outset because we flew to Orlando International Airport, which is about 18 miles from where our hotel slash motel was,
Okay.
and that itself was only about 10 miles from Disney. So that kind of shows you the distance traveled within the US of A.
Okay, so
For starters.
you never really went into you never went
No.
to anywhere that wasn't Disney then.
Oh no, we did. We did. But still not really America, still just
Hmm.
uh, tourist street, do you know what I mean? So,
Right, right.
um, but yeah, I mean, where to start? Well, I suppose I could start with the plane, right?
Yeah.
I could start with that, you know. As you know, it was an A330,
Airbus A330. Yeah, it's a good plane.
Airbus A330. Well, yeah, I guess it is because here's the crack. We got to the airport, all fine, everything's fine.
Hmm.
Um, then we go to check our baggage in, um, and there's a bit of a kerfuffle, nothing major, just you sort of notice some people didn't quite seem right, and there was some odd queues forming, especially for how early we were. And then we kind of hear from mutterings from other people in the queue that allegedly the plane had broken down somehow,
Ooh.
and therefore
uh,
the plane they were replacing it with had 50 seats less, right?
oh
So
no,
if you'd
anxiety.
already checked in, yeah, straight away, obviously, if you'd already checked in online, as it turned out, you're okay. But if you hadn't already checked in via the internet and you just turned up to check in at that point, you were then kind of in a different situation. But we checked in online, so we went in a different queue, and that was all gravy. Um, but obviously, that was sort of the beginning of the delay.
Right, right,
And then we go to the gate, and they did say I was going to be a little bit late, and I kind of expected that because of what was happening, because they were going to replace the aeroplane.
right.
And then, as it turns out, they fixed the aeroplane. Um, so it's like, oh, okay, cool. So we're getting back on the original plane. That's fine because we'd booked our seats, and the that particular plane has a row of two by the windows, a row of four in the middle, and a row of two. And we booked our seats for the middle four because it was four of us.
Yeah, it's a big plane.
Um, Yeah, so straight away I'm like, well, if they're replaced it for one that's got less seats, does that mean it's one of the ones that's 232, and therefore we aren't going to be able to all sit in the same row? Straight away from that, I'm like, oh, that's just no good. What's going on? But
Right.
anyway, as it turned out, they'd fixed the plane. They announced on the thing about 3 hours. We got there 2 hours before the flight was due to go, and then after an hour later than the flight was due to go, they then announced that they fixed the plane. Happy days, so we're back on track. So the plane comes over, and then they announce that the plane got struck by lightning
Oh
while it was
dear.
taxiing from the hangar to our gate.
Oh my gosh.
Literally, and while we were waiting in the airport, there was a thunderstorm, and it was right across the airport.
So your plane
So then
was
I was like,
broken down
right, so,
and then struck by lightning?
yep, on the
Uh,
nose cone, you could actually sort of see a very sort of bit of a very faint piece of black scarring on the nose cone. I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but anyway, so then we're delayed again while these engineers check it all out. And as it goes, the regulations state allegedly that you need to have, I think it's either 6 or 8 chief engineers, right?
Okay.
And they all 100% have to sign it off that it's fine. It's not, it's not just a democracy where 4 out of the 5 would vote for it or whatever.
They all
They
have
all
to
had
agree.
So it
Okay.
took some time, and that's fine. I'm fine with that because that means they checked it properly, and there was no cowboyness going on. And so then ultimately, yeah, eventually we did get our flight, and that took, I think, about 8.5 hours, something like that. Didn't seem too bad, They had Rogue One on the plane. I watched that straight away. Started reading some of Ready Player One, which we'll come back to later.
Mm.
And just while the time it was fine. And then we got into Orlando Airport, and there had been, as there is pretty much every single afternoon, a thunderstorm.
Oh,
And
dear.
when they have a thunderstorm, they shut the airport down because anybody outside is at risk of getting struck by lightning, obviously. And so they shut it all down, which meant there was a massive queue. You couldn't see it, but there was a big queue of other planes that were also waiting on
To
the
land.
tarmac. They'd landed and taxied. They'd landed. We'd landed as well at this point, but
Oh,
they'd
okay.
all taxied off to the side roads, and they're all waiting to be serviced, by their baggage men and their
Right. Connect to the
people that
terminals.
service the plane. Yeah, to connect to the terminal, all that stuff. All those people with the waving the stuff to direct the plane, all that stuff. They're all down tools. So there was a massive backlog, and we literally sat in the plane on the runway for about 3/4 of an hour to maybe even an hour before we could even get off the plane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
So
you
at this
were on
point,
that. That was an ordeal, man. I mean, I know it was a
yeah,
long
that was a
flight,
bit
but
more of a chore than, well, I wouldn't say ordeal, but it was a well desirable way, best way of travelling, and just adds to the annoyance and the sort of anxiety of the whole travelling. Anyway,
right.
and then so we're then at the airport, a bit short-tempered at this point, and been waiting ages, and it's fucking late at this point. It's about, we were supposed to get there about 6 p.m.
Did they serve you guys
and we
meals?
didn't get
Like
there.
several meals during that?
Well, you get meals on the plane anyway. Yeah, on the plane you do, but while we were waiting and afterwards, not really. And I think that was a bit shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But I mean, at
once we
least
got,
8
once
hours.
we've been waiting ages, I know. Yeah, you get meals on the plane. Yeah, you definitely get two sort of snack, one sort of meal and one sort of snack on the plane, and some coffee and stuff. Ain't too bad.
Okay, that's good.
So ain't too bad. But then once we've waited an hour to get out of the plane, which is the worst possible bit because you're just stuck in this bean tin, and you just want to get the fuck out of it, and you can't. And
Oh,
then we get
jeez.
out, you've got to go through security, which took a little while, weren't too bad though, and then baggage claim. And because there was loads of flights that had all come in, and then they were just trying to turn those flights around as quickly as possible, there was like 4 or 5 flights worth of baggage all coming out on a baggage claim.
Oh my gosh.
belts. And so this room was just packed with people, man. It got to the point where there was like security guards with guns, obviously. It might even been police. I don't even know. Who were like,
Oh, the
"Is your
air
bags coming out of
air
it?"
people.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, the air people, yeah, security, air police, whatever they call them.
I forget what they're
They're just
called.
standing
TSA.
around I
TSA.
forget, something like that. Yeah. They had
Yeah.
a black uniform and a badge and a gun, anyway. So, and they were like, "What are you doing standing there? Can you go stand in the corner?" And I'm trying to figure out where my baggage is coming out from this sort of carnage of people and belts. And so that got a little bit annoying. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll go stand in the corner. And then finally, they did announce our flight and which baggage claim it was coming out from. But at this point, it's like, I don't know, it was probably 10 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then at this point,
What time did you leave the
we
UK?
go out
6 p.m.
I can't even bloody remember now. No, it was earlier than that, man. It's like supposed to be 11, and we didn't leave until 3 or something like that.
Okay, so 3 plus 8-hour flight. So it's like
Yeah.
11 p.m. just when you land, another hour. So it's probably like 1 a.m. for you, for your internal clock.
Well, it was later than that actually, because by the time we went to get our taxi,
Because it's a
must have been
5-hour
like
difference.
10 p.m.
It's a 5-hour
Orlando
difference.
time. So 5 hours back from that. Yeah, yeah, 5 hours forward,
Yeah, 2
isn't
a.m.
it? Would have been
3
UK
a.m.
time. 2 a.m.
2,
3 a.m.
3. Yeah,
And
wow.
then we have to go find. We can't just go out of the hotel and go. All right, we can't just go out of the airport and go to our hotel. We have to go and find the Thomas Cook, who are the travel agency that we booked it through, the kind of desk in this hotel in this airport to pick up our Disney and Universal tickets.
Oh my
So I didn't want to have to
gosh.
piss around not having my tickets for the next day, because the next day was going to be straight on. Let's go straight to Disney. So we had to piss around for that. So that took another sort of maybe 15, 20 minutes. And that's also where they were supposed to have arranged a transfer for us. And the person who was doing the driving for that had fucked off because that was 5 hours ago. And so we're like, right, okay, that's fine. That was fine because they were like, right, well, we'll just pay straight away for a taxi for you.
Oh my gosh,
So
man.
then she goes to sort that out, with the yellow cabs. And there's always like a dude who's like the manager of the cabbies sitting on the side with a little desk, and he arranges the fares. And so she arranges the fare with a guy for $40 to take us to our hotel, and he's like, "Yep, no
Oh,
worries, like take that cab." So
$40.
we go in that cab, and a geezer in there who's like I don't know, he looked like a gangster, put it that way, Floridian gangster, shall we say, type with barely any teeth, and I couldn't understand what he said, and he's just sitting in there going, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for $40." And they're having like this argument. At this point, we put all our luggage in this taxi, and we're all sat in this taxi, and this dude is having an argument with the travel rep. And then she pulls his manager over, and they still having a little bit of a talk about it. And then he still wouldn't budge, so we had to get out, take all our luggage out, and then get in another taxi that was next to it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was just like, oh, this is all rather unnecessary.
Yeah, it sounds
So we
horrible.
got to the motel. Yeah, well, it's not horrible, horrible. It wasn't disastrous. Don't get me wrong. It was just everything that was just a little bit off, if you know what I mean. Just a little
Yeah.
bit late, a little bit more, a little bit extra messing around, really. Um, and then we finally got to the hotel, and it was like we're starving. It was about 11:30 Orlando
Wow.
time.
So yeah, it's like 4:35 a.m. for you.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess I didn't really thought of it like that, but yeah, I guess you're right. So we need some food. So we walked out of the hotel and had to walk up the road to the nearest food that I could tell, which was the Golden Arches. Which, as it turns out,
Good
is
old Mackie D's.
apparently good old Mackie D's. Exactly. You just follow it, don't you? Follow the sign. Because there was other restaurants around everywhere. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I don't know about any of these yet. I'm just going to go straight for the Golden Arches, and which allegedly is the biggest Mackie D's in the world.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but it didn't look that big to me.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. But they had everything on the menu. You could buy everything. Ah, and here's a quick question for you. Maybe you could help me understand. What is the
Okay.
difference between a double cheeseburger
I knew
and a
you were gonna
McDouble?
ask that. I knew you were gonna ask that. Um, the it's funny. I really wish I would have said, "Oh, this is gonna be about the McDouble." The difference between the McDouble and the double cheeseburger is that the double
Yeah.
cheeseburger has 2 patties, 2 slices of cheese. The McDouble has 2 patties, 1 slice of cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the only difference.
That's the difference.
That's it.
Shit, man.
Which
I'm
one
not
did you
sure what I
get?
had now, whether it was I can't remember. Because the one thing I was like, oh, wicked, you could get it as a meal. Because over here, you cannot buy a double. They don't do a McDouble anyway, hence my confusion. But you cannot buy a double cheeseburger meal. You have to buy that particular burger separately.
Okay.
They don't have a meal menu that covers that. So I was like, cool, I'll have that.
So what'd you get?
Double cheese,
Double
or
cheeseburger?
McDouble meal, probably. And a Big Mac.
Mm.
So I think actually I must have got the double cheeseburger and a Big Mac meal. Classic, right?
Did
Straight
it
down
taste
the middle.
exactly the same to you? or was it
Pretty
somewhat different?
much, mate. And at that point of the day, it didn't taste very good at all.
I wouldn't imagine.
To be
Yeah, I wouldn't
honest,
imagine it would. Yeah.
it didn't really. Yeah, it didn't really hit the spot at all. Um, so slightly unfair review of the Maggie D's specifically because the context around that wasn't great. But yeah,
Right.
it weren't great. And I think probably for the first time ever, I didn't actually eat both of the burgers. I was just like, oh yeah, it's not working for me. It just didn't. Yeah, it weren't quite as good, I would say. Just very more small margin. But I'm thinking that small margin was the events I just described.
Yeah, I could see that.
Really.
I could definitely see all of that affecting your taste buds.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously the plan, the thinking was you get there by about 5, 6, and you still have the evening, so you'd be able to chill out, chill yourself
Right.
out a little bit,
Because
find a nice restaurant
that's what
slash
time you should
diner,
have been there.
whatever. Yeah,
Okay, so you should have
yeah.
been in Florida at 6 p.m.
We're about 5.5 hours delayed total.
Jesus.
So yeah, I would say about 6 p.m. we were supposed to be there by, which would have been fine. You know, it would have still been sort of light, and we'd have got a chance to have a shower, sort ourselves out, maybe dip in the pool, and get some food in a very nice casual way. But that no, that was not going to happen.
Wow.
After that, events of the rest of the holiday were pretty much fine. So you know, I just throw that out there now, just
So
in case
you just went to
you're
bed
starting to get terrified.
after the McDonald's? Yeah.
After the McD's, yeah. I just went to bed. I think I went to the shop and bought some cigarettes, and then I went to bed.
Did
Feels
you
like I
did
need to smoke now.
Were you amazed by the cost of the cigarettes, or were they about the same?
I was, yes, absolutely. Let's just talk about that. I mean, $5.99 it was, $5.99
Oh,
for a
that's
pack of
cheap.
20 Marlboro Lights.
That's cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah, here in San
yeah.
Diego,
But
they're about eight
that's the
dollars.
shock,
They're $8 here.
mate. Over here for 20, I don't even know what it is. I'm gonna have to look it up. But I'm gonna go with about 15 quid. 15
What?
pounds, which to you, sir, is about
$20?
$18. Yeah. Yeah, 18,
Holy
$20, yeah, man.
shit!
Yeah, so the fact they were $5, $6 with roughly a third off of that, so £4 for 20 was ridiculous.
You smoke Marlboro? That's what you smoke?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't really smoke. I use my vape
Oh,
99%
right,
of
right.
the time. Alex has one every once in a while, but that was needed at that point, and they're like the only thing I really recognised. That it was just all Marlboros, and Marlboros are really strong, and I'd quite like Marlboro Lights. I used to. And
Yeah,
other than
me
that, I
too.
didn't really
That's
recognise any
that's
brands,
what I
so
used to
yeah, I
smoke.
just went straight down the line for them. Yeah, absolutely, they're nice. So,
Wow.
this is funny, right? So I've just typed in cigarettes in Google. What the
Okay.
first free search suggestions are: cigarettes after sex, cigarettes and kush, cigarettes and alcohol.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting insight into the Google search engine.
Yeah, I like putting,
Good.
like, you don't finish the sentence. You kind of leave it hanging to see what the top searches are.
Yeah, the top searches and suggestions are
That's funny. So,
Sainsbury's. Okay, okay.
so you got your cigarettes. How was the room?
Room was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of, a little bit of, because what you mentioned, I was like, I hope it's not like that, and that was fine, to be honest.
Okay, good.
The
I
rooms
felt
had
kind of
been
bad
renovated, though,
mentioning it.
allegedly.
Oh,
Allegedly,
okay.
the rooms had been renovated, so I can see where, yeah, the hotel. To be honest, it was more like motel than hotel.
Mm.
It didn't really have any. It had a pool. The pool was lovely, no problem with that. There weren't really any other facilities other than that at this place. The room was perfectly fine and clean, but if you look at the layout of it, it's sort of like that. The doors all face outwards,
Mm.
sort of thing,
Yeah. So
rather
it's
than it being all self-contained in a traditional hotel.
right. It was a motel.
Yeah, but it'd obviously been bought, and then they were trying to upgrade it and make it better and stuff. So it was fine. Friendly staff. It was fine. Breakfast options were pretty limited.
Did they have like the
And it all
quote
come on like
unquote
a.
continental breakfast, which was like cereal, milk type
I'm
thing,
not sure what
bagels?
it was advertised as, but no, you could go in and that was, it was a big room that was a bit crowded. There's a lot of people in there. You could get toast, you could get a bagel, which you had to toast yourself, obviously, and with one toaster. There must have been 100 people in there trying to use one toaster.
Oh dear.
Um, yeah, that wasn't pleasant. Well, it wasn't that bad. And then they had like a pastry and a muffin and a croissant. You know, if you want
Right.
to, you just pick one of them off. And then they had a few hot sort of tins, whatever you call them, and in them they had round discs of egg, right?
Round,
Like I guess it's like an omelette. It's just like an omelette, but just like a disc, like a tiny disc.
kind of like a
If
egg
that makes
McMuffin.
sense. Yes, but
Okay.
thinner and just yellow.
Okay.
So omelette, more omelette shaped in a McMuffin. Yes, that's perfect description. And then they had a sausage patty, exactly like a McMuffin. And then they had some pancakes.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Um, so it's all right. Yeah, absolutely. You could definitely get by on that. The bagel was all right. I had the bagel most of the time.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely you could
After a
get
few
by on that.
days, though, we didn't. You could then get your coffee, and they had cereal if you wanted it. They had some fruit, they had some yogurt, so there were some options there.
Oh,
It
that
was a
sounds
bit
good.
limited. It was
Yeah,
a
that
bit
sounds real
cardboard.
good.
It wasn't great, but it was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It all came on plastic foam plates with plastic knives and forks, which was a bit naff, if I'm honest. But that is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no one stays at the hotel. It's just somewhere to sleep and eat, get some breakfast before
Right.
you're going to the parks all day, every day. So that's what it's all about. So yeah, it was fine, really. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
So what
And
were
then of course
your
it was Disney time. Sorry, go on. Your
what
question.
what were your impressions of America? First impressions. What were your first thoughts? Like,
In a lot of ways, quite similar to here, to be honest with you, mate. In a lot of ways. Some of my first impressions were, whoa, what the fuck is it with these roads and the crossings? Right? Because they were just weird and not very good and heavily biased towards cars and not people. So the roads, it was like a 3-lane road with another 3-lane road. So 6 lanes.
yeah, that sounds familiar.
Cross at a junction. Not a junction. It's just a crossroad, I guess. I'd call it a crossroad, but that's a junction. And so to get to Mackie D's on that first night, we had to go and push the crossing right at the end. It's just right on the junction, and it takes like 5 minutes for it to change colour for you, and it doesn't change green, it doesn't change yet white. And we missed that the first time, and we were like, "What the fuck is going on? I just want to get across the road." And then we finally sort of go white, and then there's a countdown. And that's like, what, 30 seconds? What, I've got to get across that whole piece of road, 6 lanes, in 30 seconds? And then, unbeknownst to me, traffic still goes through the fucking crossing.
Wow.
So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Over here, when the traffic lights go, when someone pushes a pedestrian crossing, the lights go red, you get a green light in front of you, and all the traffic stops.
Okay.
Right?
That's
It
a
all
little different.
stops.
Yeah, that's different.
So yeah, and that was just a bit weird, and you sort of find yourself playing like sort of Frogger, sort of just trying to get across the road, and then you have to take a bit of a sprint for it, and then and then a car will come around the corner as you just getting to the other side, and you're like, and then he'll stop, but you're not quite sure what's going to happen, and I'm guessing the geezer in the car's like, what are these weird things on the road walking around? And he's like, what are they going to do? And so yeah, just not ideal, not ideal.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. 5 minutes. It seems like a long time. Most crosswalks here in San Diego take about 30 seconds to a minute after you push the
Yeah, I
button.
mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I might exaggerate a little bit, but they did. They definitely seemed to take a long while. And once it went off, you got like 5 seconds of white man, then 30-second countdown.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds about right.
So the countdown kind of sort of added to the tension a little bit. You don't get a countdown here. You just get green, and then it goes red and starts flashing, and then yeah, there is obviously still a timer on it, still a limit on it. It's just the fact you're seeing numbers there in front of you. It's like,
Right.
what's going to happen when it gets to zero and I'm not fully across 6 lanes of traffic?
Nothing.
It's kind of
They're
funny,
not going to
really.
hit you. I mean, you know.
I know, I know, I
You
know,
should
I
see the
know.
way pedestrians walk where I live, man. People just walk down the middle of the street. Like, go ahead and hit me.
Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine that. And so, while still on that subject, I would say the thing I was a little bit disappointed with was the cars, man. Kind of expected more. And there was just a fuckload of generic shit. And I was expecting more.
Yeah. Uh,
There was I did see a good few Dodge Challengers, which are lovely cars. Um, couple of types of Corvettes, I can't remember what they are. One was sort of similar to the Beetle. Um,
yeah.
the Transformers.
You won't have that issue when you go to
No.
Vegas.
No, yeah, exactly. I imagine, yeah,
You'll see
totally. Yeah, I
Ferraris
mean, I
and
guess.
Lamborghinis and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I
uh,
wasn't expecting that, mate. I wasn't expecting to walk down the road. I was just expecting a bit more American
muscle.
character, muscle, and a lot more variation on it. I was surprised. I sort of saw things like Kias and
Yeah, that's about right.
a lot of sort of very, very generic Asian cars,
Yeah.
Hondas and Toyotas and stuff like that. And I was a bit like, okay. So, yeah, that was all right, you know. I think the noisiest things coming down the road were trucks, man.
Yeah.
Those things make ridiculous amount of noise.
Yeah, the trucks make the
And I also
semis and
realised
stuff.
that there's a few cars. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I realised that half the time when I hear it on coming through your microphone, and I think it's a motorbike, it's not.
It's a semi. It's a semi truck.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's funny, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, obviously Disney World was Disney World. I'm guessing you love the shit out of it,
Yeah.
right? You had a
Well,
good time with
yes.
that. But
95% of it I loved, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great place, mate. It really is. It's a bit weird,
okay.
because of just how perfect and pretty it all is.
Yeah, I
And by
could see
stark
that.
contrast,
I do have some questions for
the
you.
kind of, sure. Where
Well,
to begin, mate? Far
I
away.
think the first thing we should begin with is obviously the thing we discussed the
Mhm.
most on the last podcast, which was you having Mexican food. That was like we talked about that for like half an hour. So, uh oh,
I
uh
know, and I am disappointed to say I didn't truly get to try it.
oh. What? After all that, you
I
didn't even
know,
try it?
I know, I know. And when
Wow.
I didn't want to. I didn't. We just never. The opportunity didn't really present itself fully to eat Mexican food, and it wasn't really a battle I was going to win with three other people who weren't that inclined to try Mexican food when they were
That's
starving. And it's
terrible.
like,
Terrible.
I know, but there's still an opportunity for that. You know, I don't think, to be honest with you, I would have been the greatest experience anyway. Mexican food where I was. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't think there was a decent Mexican restaurant proper within the 2 blocks that I ventured out, and we walked and we went to various restaurants and stuff and diners and stuff. I don't think there was a decent Mexican anyway. And the only Mexican place in Disney was part of the World Showcase.
Yeah, the ones we discussed.
And yeah, but I didn't want to eat a meal in there, Rick, because to get a snack in that fucking place costs you $60.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
To buy like a hot dog and a drink, like a Coke, for everyone costs $60.
That is insane.
Do you know what I'm
God,
saying?
man,
So you've just spent $60 on that for sort of mid afternoon because you're getting starving at this point. And then maybe you buy another drink later, or you don't, or maybe you buy an ice cream, and there you are, you've spent $80. So by the time we went to Epcot, which was halfway through the second week, I wasn't that inclined to eat in Disney too much. That's where the sort of 5% of not so great about Disney comes from, really, because the food there is pretty shit,
yeah.
and they charge you a ridiculous amount of money for it, and you don't have a choice. you can go prepared, and after after the first day I went right. I'm just gonna go straight. We just go straight to Disney. I'm not gonna worry about buying snacks or supplies or bottles of drink or anything like this. I'm just gonna turn up, right?
Right.
No baggage, straight in. And yeah, I was just like, right, okay. So after the first day, I went to the local Walgreens, which I don't know if you know what that is or
Yeah,
have
yeah.
heard of that, which is
Yeah, we have
it's kind of
Walgreens here. Yeah.
half pharmacy, half shop. It was the closest thing within any reasonable walking distance to my hotel that sold anything remotely like food that you could
Right,
buy
yeah.
to take. But there's no way you were gonna take sandwiches and shit like that and pack a whole bunch of stuff up because A, you have to cart it around, and B, it's so flaming hot there it would just be a dribbling mess by the time you came to eat it.
Correct.
Right, right. So all I did was just load up on water. So I was just like a pack
Yeah.
mule with a rucksack with like 4 litre bottles of water in my back. They actually weren't quite litres, but probably about 3 litres worth of water.
Okay.
And
750 milliliter.
so yeah. I had four bottles like that. So and bought a few granola bars, things like that, just to take, just to kind of save from total starvation, just so that we could avoid eating at Disney as much as possible and actually eat
Right.
properly, you know. So I think the
Okay.
first place we tried was Uno's.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I have a checklist here, and you were supposed to try ranch dressing
I did.
with buffalo
Multiple
chicken
times.
wings. Oh, multiple times. Are you a convert of the
Yeah.
ranch dressing?
Well, it's very similar. It's like a garlicky mayo dip, isn't it? Right?
It's not mayo. No.
That is what ranch dressing is.
No, there's no
Is it
mayo
not
in
made
it.
out of
No,
mayonnaise?
there's no mayonnaise in it.
Oh, okay. So like a garlicky based dip. That's the way I saw it, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It tastes amazing. Can't go wrong. The first time I tried it was in Uno's, which was I had this. I thought I'd try and tick 3 boxes off at once. It was like barbecue chicken wings
Oh, you didn't try the buffalo wings?
with ranch dressing. No, it was like a buffalo wing type thing in a sandwich. Something
Okay.
like that, yeah. With ranch dressing as well, and sourdough bread. So it's just like, wow, I'm like ticking a few boxes for that one.
Yeah. Wow. What'd you think?
And that was awesome. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, very good. Like that. Una's
Okay.
was not bad actually. It was more of a pub
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
a restaurant, I would say.
Did you
which
try the
is
pizza?
cool. I didn't try the pizza at Uno's.
Oh,
No.
okay.
But I did try the pizza at a place called Giordano's.
Okay. Never heard of it, but I saw it on the map. Hello? Did I lose you?
Glad about.
$100 worth of pins.
Yeah, pretty much. Because let me break that down for you.
So what was on the you have them on the lanyard? Is that how that
So
works?
you have a lanyard. You could buy lanyards with pins on them, like a starter set, and they would come with maybe, I think, I'm not sure if it's 4 or 6 pins with the lanyard, and that cost about $32 for a lanyard and pin set starter set, which was about 6 pins, I think. The pins themselves, individually, the cheapest version, because they came in different coloured tiers,
Right.
was $8.99. So $8.99
For a
was the
pin.
cheapest pin for
Okay.
a singular pin.
I have
So
a
to
bunch
buy
of
a set
those.
6 with the lanyard is cool. And they're cool, man. Some of those pins are super cool. The Star Wars ones look really cool. So Finley had one with stormtroopers on it.
I have to show you
Or I
mine,
think I
dude.
bought him a pack. You do, mate. You do.
I have
Yeah,
some.
could be
I
worth
have
a
some
mint.
that my mother-in-law. Every time she goes to Disneyland, she brings me back like a little pin.
Oh,
and-
cool. That's cool. That's
And
cool.
so I have a bunch of pins just like stored in my closet. And they're still in the packaging and
cool.
everything, dude, because I haven't had anywhere to put them. So,
okay. Yeah, I'm still
maybe
not
put them on a
sure about
jacket.
mine.
Put them on a jacket or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, or a cap. Or a cap.
Yeah, that's maybe not.
But you
maybe.
can only really walk around Disney with the cap on, with all the pins on it. But,
That's true, right? Yeah, I could wear it to Disneyland.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm planning to go. My missus really wants to go. I haven't been in about 11 years. So.
It's worth it, mate. Yeah, it's good. It's good. That is what it is, and they're good at what they do, you know. And the pins I liked. I did like the pins. So I bought Finley like a set of 6 Stormtrooper helmets that came randomized. So you got 6 different ones in a pack. And that was about $30 odd, but that was still sort of a cheaper way of buying them. Although you didn't get to pick which ones you were getting, sort of lucky dip. That was kind of cool. And then I bought another pack of Star Wars emblems, so like the Rebel Alliance and
I have the Rebel Alliance, I think,
and all that sort of stuff. And that came with another sort of 6-pack. I'd already bought him a lanyard. For some reason, he wanted a Deadpool one from the Walgreens store, so I got him that, even though he's never seen Deadpool.
Nor will he, I imagine.
No, yeah, that's what I hope. Yeah, for now at very least.
Yeah, maybe 12 or 13, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I mean, at what point do you start letting kids watch stuff like that? 12, 13?
Because of a certain ride we went on at Disney, we did watch Avatar last night, so.
Oh, that's right. It's at Disney or at Universal?
It's at Disney.
Really?
Yeah.
That's odd. They teamed up with James Cameron?
The whole thing was the Avatar ride, mate. Yes. So yeah, while we're on the subject of rides and Disney, then yeah. I originally sort of saw it on the map for Animal Kingdom, because that was a separate park, which was sort of half zoo, half Nepal themed area. Well, it was you had like Asia, Africa, and Dinosaur Land, I think, and another land. One of the lands was Pandora, and I sort of initially dismissed that. For I'm not really, I don't really see what that's going to be about. And then I tried. I found out about it, and I found out it was the newest ride and the newest area. And then of course I went to fast pass it, right? Which you couldn't do, because that ride is so new and so good and so popular. People have been booking it for 60 days in advance of their trip, because you can do that. If you stay on resort with Disney, you can use your fast pass to book any ride, well, the ones that qualify for it, up to 60 days in advance. So everyone in the world had done this, apparently, and so you could not, for the entire 2 weeks there, I couldn't find a fast pass slot for it, so it was just a case of having to queue. And I was just like, we went to Animal Kingdom on about the 4th or 5th day, and we didn't go to that area at all. We did the other rides because I couldn't book them, and I was just like, fuck, am I going to queue for hours and hours in this heat? It's not going to happen. And then we spoke to those people we'd met, and we saw them again in the hotel, and they told us how amazing it was, and I was like, oh fuck, we are going to have to go on this ride. And so we went back a second before last day. We got there for about 9:15, when the gates opened at 9. We went straight for that ride, and the queue is the longest queue I've ever seen in my life.
There's a goblin over here.
It was like, probably, I'm estimating, because the app didn't tell you how long the actual queue length was. There's no way they could have known.
How long was it? How many minutes?
Well, the app said 210 minutes.
Oh shit!
Yeah, but the people who we went with that day, because they were the people we'd met, and towards the end of the holiday we sort of spent a couple of days at parks with them as well, and their kid. They said that the queue was less than half length when they rode it earlier in the week, and it still took them 2 hours.
Whoa.
So we were like, fuck that. Obviously everyone else had the same idea, just try and get to it as early as possible and get on that ride. And so it was crazy. There was like there was a queue to get into the queue to get into the actual queue for the ride. So we knocked it on the head, spent some more time around the park. There's a really cool river rapids ride where I got completely fucking drenched on, which was kind of funny at the time. And spent some other time on some other rides. And we went back there at lunchtime, and the app was saying about 150 minutes. And by the time we got onto the ride, onto the queue, it was less than half the length it was earlier in the day, and it ended up taking about an hour and 3/4, maybe maximum.
That's a long
But
fucking wait, dude.
it is. It didn't feel as long as that, man, because
You guys are talking.
I was having a great
And
conversation. We were talking. We had this other couple with us, and I was talking to the geezer, and he loved his games. And we were talking a bit about Destiny and all this sort of stuff. He was a bit more of a casual player, but anyway, he was a major gamer anyway. And so the time went quite quickly. It's probably about an hour and a quarter to an hour and a half, I reckon.
okay.
About an hour and a half. Let's go hour and a half. And but half of the ride is you're in the queue, and it's all weaving around Pandora. So you're just looking at all the awesome
Visuals.
scenery and visuals and the theming of it all as you're queuing. So that takes a bit of the edge off it anyway. And then once you get inside the mountain that you're queuing up for, you're then inside like a sort of a lab type thing, and you can see once you get to a certain point there is a full-sized, what I can only assume must be a proper piece from the set of Avatar of an avatar in a tank. You know, when they're growing them in the tank and you see it sort of just floating around in there, they have one of them in there. So they either got the people that made them for the movies to make them one for Disney, or they just bought one from James Cameron and said, can we put it on the ride? Because he co-developed the ride apparently.
Come to
And
where I
eventually
am.
you get into...
Warp to where I am.
Okay, hang on. Eventually you get into the ride part, and then that's multi-tiered because you go into this room and it sort of pretends to scan you so it can link you with your avatar and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Which is cool. It's all really themed, just like the movie proper, you know. I'll just pick this one up. There we go. And then you get on the ride, man, and the ride's amazing. It's basically, the only way I can describe it is, it's the closest thing to flying
Jesus, what?
possible. Yeah. It's a banshee ride. You ride on the back of a banshee, right? And the thing you sit on, you go into this big room, and there's probably a row of six of these things, and they look like a motorbike, right? So you sit on it like you sit on a motorbike, with your feet up on the pegs behind your knees. Your feet are off the floor. You're sitting on this seat, which is a bit like a motorbike, and there's sort of handlebars in front of you, right? That's kind of the best way I can describe it. And then you put the glasses on, 3D glasses, of course.
Mm.
And when you sit on and it locks you in, you then feel the seat start to move, right?
Okay.
The seat is like supposed to be you're sitting on a banshee, so it's breathing, right? And then the screens open up, and it's 3D, full 3D avatar, and you're on the back of a banshee, and it starts flying. The thing is moving you around with the motion of the visuals and the 3D effect as well, which is very subtle. It wasn't that pronounced, but because it's 4K, it looks fucking incredible. And honestly, there's these bits where you dive and you go down through the mountains, you know, the floating mountains and stuff, and it feels like you're flying, man. No shit.
Damn. You already got all the stuff, right?
Amazing.
You went to where I was and got all
Yeah.
the stuff?
I don't think I'm not sure I'd have that much stuff there anyway.
Oh, okay.
My bags are full. So yeah, it was incredible, mate. Because there are a lot of rides at Universal that use a similar technology, but you can tell it's last gen. So you'll sit in a car, the car will be on rails, like the Transformer one. You get in it with a bunch of other people, and it takes you around a semi-roller coaster, but it's a very subtle one. it moves the car around in motions, and you'll see 3D stuff in scenes in front of you, right? There was a
Right.
Harry Potter ride that was exactly like that. The Transformers one was exactly like that, which was the best one of those ones at Universal. Then there was a Simpson one that was exactly like that, and the Shrek 4D cinema thing. You watch this Shrek video for about 15 minutes, again with 3D glasses, and sometimes it squirts water at you and shit like that, right?
Okay.
And the seats actually moved, but nothing was even close to this Avatar ride. Fucking mind blowing.
Damn.
So good. So good. And you're just flying around this on the Banshee. And you come to this sea bit and there's this huge wave comes up and you're like, whoa, and then it steers away from that and this fucking huge whale alien thing comes out and it sweeps around that and you fly up again. Oh, it's mental, man. Last 5 minutes, this is crazy. I would have queued up for another 2 hours to do it again for another 5 minutes. That's how good the ride was. But as the day grew on, we were like, we'll go back later in the evening before we go and see how long the ride's going to take, and maybe do it one last time. And that had gone right up to like 200 minutes again.
Oh,
So we were like, nah, fuck that.
I could see that.
So yeah, crazy, mate. Animal Kingdom was actually pretty cool, to be honest. I started off not really liking it, and in the end I quite liked Animal Kingdom. The Pandora area was awesome. Even the canteen had sort of weird Avatar-esque type Navi food, which was actually kind of good. Like rice and meat, but done in a certain way. And they had Mount Everest ride there as well, which was a roller coaster, which was awesome.
Okay.
And it looked really cool. The theming of it looked really, really cool. It looked like a mountain, like Mount Everest, really. And there was like a safari thing you could ride there as well, so it'd take you around the truck on their little sort of. They had a fairly big sized sort of. I don't know what you call it. Just like a whole area, one side of the park, which had just all sorts of animals you can think of in it. Elephants and fucking tigers and cheetahs and shit like that. All in the wild, a bit like a safari in Africa, if you see what I
Yeah,
mean.
that's the animal park, right?
Yeah, the animal park, yeah.
So overall, you really, really enjoyed your. Did you like it? You'd go
Yeah,
again, type thing, or?
yeah, but not for a considerable amount of time because I want it to allow enough time for there to be a whole new set of rides and stuff.
Right.
Plus, I'd like to leave it long enough for the Avatar ride to not be a 2 hour minimum queue length, so that I could ride it lots of times.
Right. That makes sense.
But to be honest, ultimately the plan would be to go back a few years after Star Wars, etc., has been added to Disney World, and then because you should have seen the construction they were doing just on the roads, just for that. As you got to the sort of immediate area of Disney, there's obviously all sorts of other highways they've put in just for Disney transport, and every single one of them had roadworks and construction going on in and around it. They're adding in extra lanes and overpasses and all sorts of bits and pieces, which was all related to Star Wars.
Hmm.
That thing's going to be huge. And 2019, I think they're slated to finish the work there at Hollywood Studios, so you won't be able to move anywhere near that place for a good while after that opens.
Yeah, dude. There's one thing I can't stand. It's well,
Queuing and stuff.
there's a
And
few things
people.
that are my absolute most hated things,
Yeah.
and those things are direct sunlight,
Well, I'm not sure
crowds
that's
of people,
too much of a problem. Yeah,
crowds
that
of
is a
people,
problem.
and waiting in line. Those three things are my
Yeah,
absolute
me too, mate.
most
Me
hated
too.
things
100%.
in the
I
world.
agree completely with those things.
And that is
Completely
why
agree.
I haven't been to a theme park in like 12 years, 11 years.
But these days you can do it quite well. So Magic Kingdom, for some reason, was probably at least 50% more busy than any of the other parks.
Because it's
That
Disneyland, dude.
place,
That's
because
Disneyland.
it's Disneyland,
Yeah.
because of that
You
castle.
just don't call
The
it
rides
Disneyland.
there, the rides there by comparison were pretty tame and pretty poor.
You
You
didn't
know,
like
Thunder, I
Thunder
liked some of
Mountain?
them. Don't get me wrong.
Space Mountain?
Thunder Mountain was great. Yes, I was going to say those. So Thunder Mountain was great. That's a good roller coaster.
Matterhorn?
I don't think they had that there.
Yeah, that's right. They don't have the White Mountain. The Matterhorn is only at Disneyland. They don't have it at Magic
Right,
Kingdom. For
right.
some reason. I don't
But
know
that was
why.
a great classic Disney roller coaster. If I wanted to ride that ride since I was a fucking kid and I first saw it on the TV.
The Matterhorn?
Like the Runaway Mine Train. No, the
Oh, Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking great.
It was great.
Love
It's
Thunder
great.
Mountain.
So that's good. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride was cool, but not really a ride. More of a gentle boat ride through some caves with some really awesome Pirates of the Caribbean animatronics and scenery and stuff like that, but not really a ride. But that was still cool. We rode it twice, so I really did enjoy that. And Space Mountain was alright, but I'm not a massive fan of that ride. I've been to it in Hong Kong, and I've been to it now in Orlando, and it's my least favourite roller coaster of the roller coasters I rode there.
Really? Space Mountain?
Yes, because 95% of it is in pitch black.
Yeah, that does kind of take away, doesn't it? They don't have
Which,
like the
yeah,
lights
it's a bit-
on? They don't have like lights on and
There's
stuff?
some when you were going up an uphill bit, right? You'd be in a big tube with some neon lights, and that'd be super cool. Then you go out the other side, and I guess if you looked around enough, you'd see what probably might look like stars or something, because I guess you're supposed to be in space. But generally
yeah.
speaking, it was just black, and you don't see the corners coming. And for some reason on that ride, I guess because it's all inside a fucking tent type building, Space Mountain, corners are all super harsh. They're all like hairpin bends, and it really yanks you around, and you go up and down, and it just feels a bit harsh compared to like your Thunder Mountains and your Mount Everest rides, where the corners are nice, banked. Do you know what I mean? Curves.
Right.
These like horrible, harsh corners on that ride. Finley loved it. That was like his favourite ride, but for me, not
I
so
like
much.
Space Mountain.
more
I like
concerned.
Space Mountain.
I was
But
gonna throw my back out.
I didn't
on that particular
ride this. I've never ridden the same Space Mountain you've ridden.
Yeah.
The Space
the two
Mountain.
I rode were very similar.
The Space Mountain at Disneyland is different from all the other Space Mountains.
Is it?
Yeah, the ride you rode is essentially the same track as the Matterhorn, but it's in Space Mountain theme. So it's that track. It's not as
That's horrible. You know the one I mean, right? The corners aren't.
No,
that
I know
banked.
what you're talking about because I've ridden the Matterhorn.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But the Disneyland Space Mountain is different from that Space Mountain.
Yeah, figures. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look it
Yeah,
up
I wasn't
online, you'll see a pretty cool description of
I'll
why.
have a look, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have a look,
the
yeah.
history of why the Space Mountain. I guess the Space Mountain at Disneyland is scarier, or whatever. It's more
Yeah, I
fierce.
just didn't like it. I weren't that fun of it. It was just, it felt harsh. It felt like a harsh ride, rather than a necessarily scary or necessarily thrilling, fun ride. Whereas
Gotcha.
Big Thunder Mountain is great fun. And there are like multiple tracks on the one there. I don't know if that's... I mean, I might have been imagining that, but there were definitely more than one minecart track.
I can't recall. I think there's only one at
There's
Disneyland.
multiple tracks at the one in Orlando.
If you do end
'Cause
up
the
coming,
first time I went on it, I went on the left-hand side and went in the left-hand cart, and we did a route. And then the second time I rode it, which was on another day when we went back, I think I got in the right-hand car, and it took, at least in part, it took a different route, which was cool. So there's like more than one ride really there. So that was awesome.
yeah, if you do make the trip out to San Diego, and we do indeed go to Disneyland during that trip, which I'm guessing we probably will.
Yeah,
because
sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking we could even do is just go to Anaheim that morning, because it's only an hour and 40 minutes or something. And then we could even just drive back. You could save yourself some money on a hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't
good,
mind
man.
driving.
It's
I
all
don't mind
good.
driving. I could fucking drive. That's one thing I can do. So
So yeah, there were some good rides at Magic Kingdom,
But what I
but
mean is you could compare the rides. You could compare.
oh yeah,
Give me
of
a
course, yeah,
real comparison between Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. I've done
yeah, fair point, yeah,
they have like
yeah.
the YouTube walkthroughs in HD. Have
Oh
you ever seen
right,
those?
yeah,
So you can
no,
actually watch those and get a good idea of the differences. So I've
I'd be
watched them a few
interested,
times.
yeah.
Yeah, Tokyo
Before I wasn't
Disneyland
that much of
is
a
amazing.
Disneyland kind of geek in that respect, but I guess I am a bit more now, for sure. So
I have a
definitely
book.
be interested to look
I
at
have a
that stuff
coffee
up.
table book, a Disneyland like
Oh,
a
cool.
50th anniversary coffee table book that shows all the different eras and stuff, and that would turn you into a nerd just looking at that book.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially when you look at like
yeah.
60s Tomorrowland. Oh, 60s Tomorrowland is fucking amazing.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay. So Tomorrowland was there. That didn't have the best rides, to be honest. I mean,
No.
the first ride we went on was in Tomorrowland because but you could book 3 fast passes in a day on your app, and you had to use them all before you could then pick any more. Um, and the fast pass, we got there with a good bit of time before our fast pass was actually scheduled, so we were like trying to find some rides to go on that didn't have ridiculous wait times, and they had a Monsters Inc. Laugh Lounge kind of thing, which was in Futureland, so that was the first place we went. And but to be honest, other than that, the rides weren't that good in that part. You had
Which
like
park was
a
this?
Lilo
Magic
and
Kingdom?
Magic Kingdom, Future World.
Oh, okay, Future World. Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Future
that
World?
part of it. Yeah, or Tomorrow World, Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland?
Tomorrowland.
What
Yeah,
did you call
that's
it?
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland. Yeah, that's the one. That's what it's called. Yeah, yeah. The better rides at Magic Kingdom were definitely in like Adventureland or Frontierland, whichever one of those two it was. They're both pretty good. We did the Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a fun
That
ride.
was cool. Yeah, I liked that one. That's fun. Yeah, it wasn't really, but it was just cool. That's just that Disney super theming and setting and some really cool special effects
That's one of those
that you
rides
can kind of
that
appreciate.
you kind of had to grow up with that ride to really appreciate it.
No, I really did appreciate it because I
Really?
just appreciated the old school nature of it. It wasn't, but it didn't feel that old school. I appreciated the traditional nature of that ride. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Way more than all of these throwaway 3D film slash rides they keep bodging together at Universal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a big difference there.
Yeah, I sort of have more respect for it and appreciation of it. So I like that, and some of the bits when you come through and you can see all the ghosts dancing around down in sort of like the dining room or whatever, and just the way those effects work were brilliant.
The other thing I was gonna say, dude, is this trip you're thinking of possibly doing. We're talking what, probably a couple years down the line, right? It's for you to recoup your
Yeah,
losses from this trip.
yeah, yeah. I've still got to pay a big credit card bill.
Okay. Well, do it in January.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
One, you'll avoid your winter. You'll get to experience San
Yes.
Diego winter. San Diego winter is 68 degrees, so that's fucking ridiculous. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's what you set your fucking air conditioning to. That's our winter.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds
And
good.
the other thing is that you're talking no waits at Disneyland.
Oh, that sounds good also, yeah. I mean, the way we did it was
no
quite
wait.
well, and we didn't really have to wait for many rides at all because of the way I planned it with the fast pass.
Oh, okay.
We got there the first night, and I sort of some of them you were able to just sort of book during the day and go, well, I want to ride that one in about an hour after I've had a drink, and then an hour after that we'll try and ride this one, and that's sort of how you spread it out. But because of that, and to take it a bit more relaxed like that, sort of only taking maybe 4 or 5 rides a day helped, because that was fucking hard work, man. So
Well,
hard.
dude,